Hey everybody, this is Vril. Welcome back to Extended Timeline New World Order. So in the last episode we had Mongolia finish off their huge war with China, and China is left with just a couple provinces here, one in the north and one in the south. So we'll see where Mongolia goes next between all of the targets they can have. So they are allied with India and Myanmar, so we won't expect them to go in there. Actually allied with North Korea as well, so we'll see where that goes. I don't think South Korea has any allies whatsoever, so we'll see. We had Thailand growing in size a little bit. They'd been cut down quite a bit earlier. They went into Cambodia, and actually Malacca was one of our recently released countries. Thailand completely took them over. Then over here in Iran, we had Turkey, we had India, and Afghanistan, all declaring independent wars against Iran. So Iran really doesn't exist very much anymore. We had Afghanistan going into Turkmenistan. I think Turkmenistan's completely gone now. And they might have taken some more territory from, I don't know, I don't think they took any from Kazakhstan. They just took this. Now they do border with Russia, Afghanistan does, so we'll see that where that goes. We had India and Turkey declaring war against Syria. You can see Turkey gained some provinces on the Iraqi-Syrian border in the north, and India took some in southern Iraq. So, just looking at my notes here, we had Poland going into Belarus, leaving Belarus just with one province. So Poland now borders with Russia. And we had Spain vassalizing, of all things. It doesn't happen very much. Vassalizing Tunisia, and then they declared war on Tlemcen and completely took all of that out. And down in South America, we had Brazil. Actually, it was France declared war on Brazil. Peru was an ally of France, and Brazil won that war, taking over all of French Guyana here, and a couple of provinces from Peru. So actually, we only have one war going on right now, so I'm going to go ahead and increase our speed up to 4, and hopefully we'll get some things going and just pass some time pretty well here. So the only thing that was going on was this Congo Central Africa war. We've got Noop in there, and actually the actual Congo, as opposed to Republic of Congo, is allied there, so a little bit funny. Looks like, yeah, Namibia is just allied. They're not actually in that war, so yeah, the Democratic Republic of Congo has some major gore there. And we'll just keep checking back. Anything else we can look at here? Syria is a socialist state. Constitutional monarchies, as we know. So Mongolia is that socialist state as well. I didn't realize Mongolia even has some territory down here south of Dali. So yeah, I've been saying it multiple times, but I'd like to see, I mean, North Korea has 48k, no general in that army. They used to have one, he must have died against the South Koreans. 27k, no general. So if the North Koreans could get some help from Mongolia, they could certainly take out South Korea, but the South Koreans do have the independence guaranteed by the Americans. So we have a Saudi Arabian, Ethiopian imperialist war, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Turkey against Ethiopia. This is a good one, so let's head on over there. Look at that. A lot of territory that Ethiopia has. So basically all of Eastern Africa, the major players, at war with Saudi Arabia here. So let's see, what have we got? Ethiopia 42k. Egypt trying to gain some territory back. I'd like to see Egypt gain its territory back from Ethiopia here. I think it wasn't even Ethiopia who originally took it. It was, we have an Austrian-Swiss war, so Austria finishing off the Swiss. 29, okay, that was going to say, yeah, 29k for the Austrians here. That won't take long. Apparently we have, yes, Israel was in this war, and they are allied because they were allied with Ethiopia, so Obviously, I don't think anybody's going to take Israel to finish them off because their independence is guaranteed by the Americans, and I don't think anybody wants to make them very angry. Nigerian reconquest in Congo. Bunch of Congo wars firing off. I'd say Ethiopia, I guess this is probably their allies. Tanzania. Actually, Ethiopia itself has a pretty good sized army. I think that Saudi Arabia might have lost a battle there, but the Turks, once they arrive, even though they have that quantity idea, I think, at least against an Ethiopian army, I think they'll probably be doing okay. And I just keep checking back to see if anything else. I'm interested to see the Americans declare war on Costa Rica and then border with Peru, and we'll see what happens there. See if that expansion continues on into South America for the Americans. So Sudan does exist here as just a one province here. Uganda as well, a couple provinces maybe. And Yemen still exists with a couple provinces too, so we've got the Turks sieging out territories. And of course we had Austria finish off Switzerland completely. I'm surprised that the Germans or maybe the Italians hadn't done that sooner, but good enough for Austria. Yeah, 120k stacks. So actually, we could have a good battle if we can get the Ethiopians and the Turks and the Egyptians to fight there. We will see. Let me just... It's actually not so far going well for them. Even though they've got some blockades, they just need to siege out Gondor. To get the biggest war score improvement there. Here we go, battle. And 2 battles here. We've got the Ethiopians won one and the Turks won the other, and it actually looks like the Turks are going to lose another here unless the Saudis join up. Even with the crossing, or actually, yeah, they had a crossing penalty, or maybe it was a train penalty. I didn't quite catch what that was. Yeah, so the Israelis did peace out of that war early. I suspected they would, and they still exist. Yeah, so they're no longer allied with Ethiopia there because of that. It's Congo War, Central Africa still going on. Nigeria, just a little reconquest against Congo here, so I'm surprised. I don't know why that war hasn't ended. I was thinking maybe there was an island nation, or just an island that they needed to siege out somewhere that somebody had, but I don't see one over there. Sure why I guess these Saudis, okay, yeah, there they go. Ethiopia, with their alliances, they're going to win this war, I think, and maybe we'll see what they end up doing, but I guess they'd have to... Saudi Arabia is the one that declared this war, right? Yeah. So if they did win that war, I wonder what they would actually take. It'd be cool, I mean, I wanted Egypt to gain its territory back, but if they don't, it'd be cool if Ethiopia pushed into Egypt, but... being that Saudi Arabia was the one that declared that war, they would have to siege out in each province they wanted individually. Actually, now that I say that, I'm thinking back to vanilla U4. I probably don't have to do that in extended timeline, although, I don't know. I have to think about that a little bit. But they'll probably take Saudi Arabian territory or get some big payoff. So we have Guinea-Bissau against Kabu, whatever Kabu is there, and actually Central Africa just... finished off Congo completely. Now, I don't think that's the first time that Congo has been finished off completely in this series, so you never know what will be lost and what will come back. That reminds me of the custom nation time lapses. I know you guys are like, you'll post in the comments where you're disappointed that your nation was just, wiped off the map, but then, 50 years later it will pop back up somehow because somebody lost a war and then they're back. So it's always fun to see when nations come back. Did the Republic of Congo gain any territory back? Maybe it's because they're not at war anymore. I guess they still have these broken off territories there, but they looked somehow slightly better than they were. So yeah, okay, we've got Russia going into Gazi-Kamuk and Circassia there. And I was going to say, this Ethiopian are really defending against Saudi Arabia here. Very good for them. So the Russians declared this war. It looks like these Armenian revolutionary, or actually these are different. These are Azerbaijan revolutionaries. So the Russians should be able to win this, but they need a little bit more armies, and they've got a 3-star heading on over to Gazi-Kamuk here. Or actually, no, that's Circassia. Gazi-Kamuk's here. So they're sieging out Gazi-Kamuk, and they need to actually siege out Circassia. Yeah, I would say that this is an unsuccessful declaration of war by Saudi Arabia. It's kind of what the Russians did early on in this series. They declared a lot of wars that were unwinnable and really lost a lot of territory, wasted a lot of manpower because of it. Looks like Saudi Arabia is going down the same path. Now, considering they're going to have this loss of manpower, I suspect that we will see India declaring war on Saudi Arabia, unless they're allied. No, they are not. Before long, I'm willing to bet that India does that. But who knows? India's probably spending a lot of admin power coring up all these provinces, so maybe the AI is probably a little bit smarter than to declare that war, but we'll see. Yeah, so the Russians are going to probably take all of Circassia, all of Gazi-Kamuk here. They lost those. Yeah, there they go with Circassia. It's gone. And Gazi-Kamuk should be soon enough. And I would say that if we didn't have EU nations in this, with Turkey and the EU, then we might see the Russians go into Turkey, but I don't think that's going to happen, being that Turkey is in the EU. Gazi-Kamuk down to one province. And actually, that reminds me, we haven't really looked at the EU map recently, so you can see the EU is expanding because Turkey and apparently Morocco is in the European Union here. Like, I can understand the Spanish having this territory in Spanish Maghreb in the EU, but Morocco in the EU? That's pretty wild. Wow. So, our Saudi Arabian war still continues. This will be fun to see what the territory exchanges. Yeah, I'd say that, being that this is not too many wars going off, we have a Mongol change of government in Dali and Thailand. Unfortunate for our Thailand fans that they're going to war with Mongolia. That's not a fair fight at all. But with that said, they have no bordering provinces with Thailand, so other than Thailand probably going to get their army destroyed, I don't think there will be any territory exchanged. But Dali, I think that their days are numbered. They have a decent sized army though, 57k, not bad. Oh, okay, that's because Thailand is there with, I don't know, 20k or so. I always look at this like left number, I'm assuming 11,000, and then 3,000, 9,000, and then it's like, only look at that 11k number, and I'm like, how does that army be 57k? Come on, North Korea. Declare that war. 52k. An awesome army. So the Mongols are going to probably lose a battle against Dali there, surprisingly. Let's actually check. We did not do this at the beginning of the episode. So Mongolia is gaining some of... Look at this power in Asia between India, Russia, and Mongolia here. That's pretty crazy. And look at this German power as well. Actually, before I do this, let me... Although we only have a few more minutes in this episode, but I wanted to be on that so I can look at what wars are being declared. Not much going on in... Ethiopia just needs to actually siege out territory. So the Mongolians keep trying to do like these terrain penalty battles, and they're wasting a ton of manpower. I mean, they have a ton of manpower, but they don't need to be wasting it like they are against a minor nation like Dali for the most part. So they are allied with Myanmar. I was just thinking maybe they would go into Myanmar. Malaya's been so quiet. They had that power time very early on. I'm surprised they never went into Papua New Guinea there. Okay, we've got a Venezuelan-Suriname war. We've got... Now we have Russia going into Georgia. So Russia regaining its territories back in the Caucasus before they possibly join the EU, maybe? You never know with this series. Considering Morocco is in the EU, you never know. It just has to be bordering territory for the most part, and Georgia has the right government. Actually, it reminds me to check the Morocco here. Is a constitutional monarchy, so they're good. Still never checked the actual requirements for joining the EU here. I know it obviously has to be somewhat bordering, but who knows with Morocco joining. Obviously, Belarus never joined, or they... Actually, they finally did change their government. They're a merchant republic. They have not joined the EU, though. But yeah, so they're a merchant republic because they're down to one province here. So we've got the Syrians with a 3-star general beating back the Russians here, so... Now we've got another battle here. Russians with both a terrain and a crossing penalty. We've got... Okay, here we go, Malaya. At war with Ternate, whatever that is. I'll go check. Okay, yes, I actually knew what that was. We've got this little island that was released at some point, maybe when there was that punitive war against the Malaya there. And somewhere they declared that Thailand is actually in a royal marriage with Myanmar there. Cool. Yeah, the Russians have a little bit of trouble with this Georgian war. I mean, I expected them to have a Mongol change of war in Dali. Let me, before that actually ends, have a look over there and watch this. Should be finishing off here. Surprised that it has not finished off yet. There it goes. Yeah, they didn't take as much as I thought they would have, but they at least connected their territory that they had here with their mainland Mongol territory. Yeah, the Russians completely struggling here. I mean, they're losing. -9 in the war score. Nigerian reconquest. Saudi Arabia, not going so well. We'll see if the Mongols decide to go into this British South China or anything like that, too. Looks like the Ethiopians finally made it across this Red Sea Strait into Saudi Arabia, too, so they'll probably be able to... Or are they coming right back? Yep, they are coming back because there is some Turkish forces in Ethiopia there. Okay. But yeah, I would expect before long the Russians will get organized. Although I'm not seeing it quite yet. And be able to deal with Georgia. I mean, they're fighting with like no leaders, and that's not wise. But yeah, here they come. At least they've got, you know, like 60k stacks, and they've got a 2-star there. Alright, but it does look like we're out of time for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit the like button. It really helps out the channel. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.